I was about 16 at the time. Me and a few friends were hanging outside a school just down the street from where he lived. It was around 11 p.m. and we were sitting underneath a streetlight in the school's parking lot. A few kids about 10 or 11 years old, accompanied by a kid about our age, passed the school, probably 40 feet from where we were. We didn't think much of it, but it was kind of strange to see at 11 at night. We just went back to what we were doing. About 5 minutes passed by, and a group of 4 or 5 guys, about 18 or so, are running past. They slow down, and one of them yells over to us and asks if we've seen a group of kids nearby. We just answered with a quick no, and went back to what we were doing. They walked over to the school sign, which was about 80 feet from us. There they stood, just acting like they were hanging out. We didn't think much of it, but after a while we started heading back to his house. We noticed that they were looking at us. As we were crossing the street, we hurried and got back to his house. We were kind of weirded out by it, so we thought we should probably just lock up the house. We were all hanging out in his living room. About 2 minutes after we got back, his front door starts shaking and the doorknob was moving. We all looked at each other like, is this really happening? Then there was banging on the door. I peeked out through the window onto the porch. Sure enough, there was one of those guys from earlier, standing there ramming into the door. We had no idea where his friends were, but we all grabbed things to defend ourselves just in case any of them were to get in. One of my friends went into his kitchen to check his patio door. The guy at the front door ran off the porch. We went into the kitchen thinking maybe he was going to try the back of the house. It was just a glass sliding door after all. We waited and waited for nothing. He left. I have no idea what the guy's intentions were, if he would have gotten who he was, nor why he followed us back and why none of his friends seemed to be with him. But thankfully none of them ever came back. But it was one heck of an experience. Not really creepy, but odd. There is this one guy in my densely populated neighborhood. We seem to operate on the same schedule, since we see each other at the bus stop almost every day. We never talk much. He always just asks me for a cigarette, and I usually give him one. The problem is that I don't have a sensible schedule. My classes are at a different time every day and get rescheduled more often than not. And I make my own work hours, so I just come in whenever. Last time I saw him couple of hours ago, I'm walking home, middle of the night, and some guy jumps me from the back saying, "Do you have a cigarette?" I turn around and it's the same guy, just strolling around the neighborhood at 2:30 a.m. looking for somebody to lend him a smoke. Mine is ongoing. We have relatively new 3 to 4 years neighbors who live behind us. I've never met the wife or even seen her. The husband is late 50s, early 60s, and looks creepy as shit. Thin, long white hair, about 30 pounds overweight, and always wears a retro Bulls jacket and slacks. Every single morning I go to work, he's walking his dog. Every day I get home, he's doing the same. He oftentimes walks right along the property line between our houses and stares into our bay window. One day, me and my brother and his 2 little kids were sitting on the front porch, getting ready to walk to the park to play basketball, when he walked up and started talking to them, asking weird questions and generally giving off creepus vibes. Me and my brother asked him a few times what his dog's name was, and he seemed caught off guard and never answered us. Always dodged the question and kept talking to my niece and nephew. He looks like a textbook serial killer. My mom lays in the backyard all the time in the summer, tanning, wearing a bikini, and she has caught him staring at her before through a gap in the bushes that separate our properties on the eastern side. Our workout room has a door to that backyard, and I commonly hit my bowl a few times right outside the door, and one night I went out for a few hits and heard creepy ass whistling. It was especially creepy because it was raining. Virtually no visibility, and it was so close. So fucking sketchy. I slammed the door and locked it and checked the doors after that. If he's just a weird old man, or if he's actually not mentally there, but the dude is so weird. Oh, and let's remembered another thing. When I'm driving past when he's walking his dog, he stares at me until I'm out of view. The entire time, every single time. I know this BC. I check my mirrors to see if he's still staring, and yup. So, if you want second part of Neighbor horror stories, then subscribe to our channel and let's aim 1,000 likes on this video. Till then, bye.